Hello, my name is Wildkard. You're watching Super Rugby Review Round 13, Highlanders versus the Reds. Yes, the Reds haven't been in the Highlanders since 2013. And yes, after this loss, it's 10 years since the last time the Reds has been in the Highlanders in New Zealand. And yes, every week I watch the Reds play, I feel like surely I can't be the only one seeing the obvious here, right? I like the management of this team is making the same mistakes every week. And you wonder why this team keeps losing. They had a brief moment where they beat the Chiefs in New Zealand. You figured, yes, you pick up the positives and you continue to grow from there, right? No. The Reds decided, the one man that's outperforming everybody's expectations, James O'Connor, comes back to this game, right, after being ruled out of HIA last week where the Reds just look completely lost. He brings stability, he brings leadership. The Reds, everybody around him looks more comfortable. Everybody seems to know what they wanted to do. And everybody is more adventurous when James O'Connor is on the field. And the management decides to take him off the field 56 minutes into the game, okay? To bring on Hunter Paisami, who's been injured for like, what, a month? 2 months? And guess what? We can pinpoint the exact moment when the Reds started losing the game. I'll show you the evidence, okay? So let's go to commentary. 56 minutes, right? Just so we know, James O'Connor leaves the field. And 58 minutes is when the Highlanders started to win the game. Ignore the lights, by the way. I don't know what's going on there. Highlanders starts winning the game. You tell me if that's an accident or if the management have no idea what they're doing. Okay? I mean, surely, after that spectacular performance against the Chiefs 2 weeks ago, James O'Connor did not forget how to play the game after getting a week off of concussion, right? And you have to take him off 56 minutes into the game. Like, I was baffled. I literally wrote in my notes, is this where the Reds start losing? And sure enough, it was, okay? It was the exact moment when the Reds started losing. The team looked disorganized when James came off. The defense on the wing was just like non-existent. The breakdown for the Highlanders significantly improved. Whilst yes, Fakatava came on and he did put a lot of more pressure on the Reds with that faster breakdown. But it was so obvious. The Reds just went and also, oh yeah, by the way, early in the game, both McDermott and who was it? Who else was it? I think it was, and Liam Wright. Both McDermott and Liam Wright, the captain and co-captain, came on with HIAs. So there's nobody on the field that's actually a leader. And they're like, yeah, okay, let's take James O'Connor off as well. The most senior person with the most experience who runs all the backline plays, right? Let's take him off as well. And let's see how this one goes. Let's see how we can lose this game in the last 20 minutes. I mean, surely, I'm not the only one who saw this coming. I'm sure some of you guys who was watching this live thought, well, that's probably not a smart idea. Yet, we have professional coaches getting paid, making these just stupid decisions like this. I get it, you want to bring Paisami back into the game. Put him at 13. Or bring him on later. You know, he don't need to play, almost 30 minutes. 25 minutes. He didn't need to play 25 minutes. Coming fresh off an injury. Especially in the game that is so important to fight for the top 8 spot. Now the Reds are, 7th. Who knows? They might actually not make the top 8. They still got one more week to go. It's just so baffling. So baffling, these decisions. How do the coaches come to this? Do they not have, do they just, make up these things? like, during the week and just went, well, let's ignore the fact that both the captain and the co-captain are off injured. Let's just stick with the plan. Take out the next most senior person on the field and watch this Titanic run into an iceberg. Unbelievable. I don't know what to say. I don't know what else is like. What's going on here? Anyway, let's talk about some positives. So the Reds did have some good scrummaging in the second half. The Highlanders dominated the scrummaging in the first half, and the Reds had a significant comeback in the second half. A lot of forward momentum, a lot of power in that. I think it was the loose hair side actually in the loose hair side for the Reds. So yeah, it was really good, well done for the Reds with the big forwards in the second half. Got 2 penalties, which led to 2 3-pointers, so 6 points from just scrum penalties, which is quite impressive, especially against Ethan de Groot, who's an All Black on the Highlanders side. The Reds was able to pull that off, which was quite good. For the Highlanders, started a bit slow, came back a little bit, and then in the second half, I thought when Folau Fakatava came on, the Highlanders look a lot better, to be honest. Despite this was Aaron Smith 200th game. His send-off game, I swear, is it 200? His send-off game, definitely his last game in New Zealand, for Highlanders anyway. He's, with that being said, Fakatava came on and the breakdown speed was a lot quicker. The decision-making was a lot more crisp. And, Highlanders in good hands. I think the All Blacks are also in good hands with Fakatava filling that void, the void that Aaron Smith is going to leave for both teams in that regards. And let's go through some stats and see what actually happened. So surprisingly, the Reds actually has more run meters. They were controlling the game for the most part. Like I said, last 20 minutes, as soon as O'Connor came off, Highlanders started running away with the game. And the Reds, it was almost like the Highlanders was consistently getting over the advantage line. And the Reds was just not fronting up the tackles, essentially. Not fronting up, not making those dominant tackles. And also and it was very difficult as well when that faster breakdown speed that Fakatava was bringing off the bench really made it difficult for the Reds to defend. And then you can just see the Reds defense just going back. Every time the Highlanders ran the ball, the Reds are back, retreating. Eventually, you run out of space to retreat, right? You're on the try line, and then Highlanders goes over for tries. So 449 run meters for the Reds, 367 for the Highlanders. 14 defenders beaten for the Reds, 15 for the Highlanders, so quite even in that regards. Turnovers conceded, 12 against the Highlanders, 11 against the Reds. Again, quite even in that regards. Tackles made, Highlanders had absorbed a lot of punishment by the Reds, 175 tackles, 14 missed tackles only. So really well done in that defense. The Reds, 107 tackles made, 15 missed tackles. A lot of the missed tackles of the Reds came in the last 20 minutes. It really looked like the defense really looked like it was in shambles a little bit. The Highlanders absorbed a lot of pressure. Like the Reds were building, 10 plus phases inside the Highlanders half. I was not able to score multiple times and had the resorting to taking 3, which was really well done for the Highlanders. The kicking game was quite tame for both teams, 17 for the Highlanders, 20 for the Reds. Conversions perfect for both. Tell you what, Michael Liner, is it Mike? What's his name? Yeah. Tom Liner, Michael was his dad. Tom Liner really had his dad's, athlete blood in him, and he was just calm as a cucumber, kicking those penalties left and right was no problem. There was one where I actually didn't know how it was really kind of like a really difficult kick. It was like 45 meters out, from a massive angle, probably 10 meters in from the sideline, something that, international test rugby is, players will be, struggle to kick that. You even players like Owen Farrell and Andre Pollard, some of the best kickers in the world, would only have like a 50%, 60% accuracy from that sort of positions. And he popped that one through. I didn't think it was going to get it. He popped it right through down the middle. I was very impressed. And that was also one of the penalties that was going to, retake the lead for the Reds. So he was under a lot of pressure, a lot of this was obviously away. There was a lot of noise made when he was taking the kick. In fact, I thought it was really rude as well. The stadium had the music on when he was kicking as well, like really loud, whatever music, background music playing. And I thought, normally if the fans wants to boo, wants to do whatever, it's fine. But as an organization, you're gonna keep the music blasting while the goal kicker is taking the kick to try to put him off. Is a little bit. I thought that was a little bit. Yeah, it was a little bit unprofessional from a team's standpoint. Whatever the fans want to do is okay, but if you're gonna do that as an organization, it's a little bit low. Almost as bad as the Crusaders having ball boy touching the ball as getting kicked out, so the opposition can't throw a quick line out. It's almost as bad as not as quite as bad as that, but yeah, that's I thought that was a little bit. They did that a couple times. So then we've got the yeah. So anyway, let's go through some of the. Oh yeah, have we finished the? Yeah, no, hang on. Penalties. We've done that. So lineouts quite even, both sides 13 and I'm pretty sure this lineout. This is wrong. I'm pretty sure there were a few lineouts that was messed up, and there was being a few, a number of these videos I've made now where it says lineouts lost was 0, and I'm pretty sure this is just like an error in the system. Like all these records has been 0 for the last couple of weeks now. So yeah, that's what it is. One scrum loss against the Highlanders. Yeah, second half the Reds was really putting the squeeze on, was really well done. 7 penalties against Highlanders to 9, considering there was like 2 scrum penalties. So there was only actual 5 real penalties against Highlanders. So really good defense and really good discipline, especially considering how much pressure they were under. 9 penalties considered for the Red. Not awful, but it was fine. It was just fine. So the with that being said, let's go through some of the key moments of the game. The game started with the Reds just right off the bat was really dominant, getting themselves inside the Highlanders 22, just repeated pressure. Is eventually a nice little inside ball. I think it was from James O'Connor. Nice little inside ball to Fraser. Was it? Yeah. Was it? No. It was who was it? Liam Wright. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, wasn't McDermott. Quick ball, inside ball to Liam Wright, who just ran this nice little angle, slides himself through, and then just the vision, the quick decision, the poor handling, the accuracy from James O'Connor was just absolutely beautiful. And then Liam Wright goes in for the first try for the Reds, and the scoreboard was 7 points to 0, only 7 minutes into the game. There was a lot of counter pressure by the oh yeah, sorry. So yeah, and then there was a lot of counter pressure by the Highlanders. They're pounding the Reds' try line, some good kicking game from the Highlanders. The Reds had to do a defensive 5-meter line out, and then they just ran the ball. Harry Wilson just carved the defense open, big strides down the field. James O'Connor was just bursting out like right next to him. Everybody was left behind. Harry Wilson offloads the ball to James O'Connor. James O'Connor runs down the sideline. He almost gets pushed out. Again, had the mental, capacity to keep his foot in touch and throws the ball back in. And then the Reds had a nice little, passes amongst them and then run 95 meters down the field. Eventually, upfield is the guy that was the final person who received the ball. Goes in for the second try for the Reds. 11 minutes into the game, the Reds was leading the game 14 points to 0. It was looking really good for the Reds. Highlanders has finally to have to come back to make a play. A lot of pressure, and then immediately they found a gap in the Reds defense basically, and then Nala K runs through for the Highlanders first try. 10 minutes later, Highlanders was apply more pressure inside the Reds 22. The Reds almost looked like they just took the gas off took the foot off the gas. A lot of repeated pressure. Highlanders get a scrum inside the Reds 5 meters essentially, and then Renton, the number 8, picks up the ball, just ran himself to the blind side, and just classic play, just pick and go. Number 8, poor defense by the Reds, goes in for the try. It was him up against I think the number 10 against what's his name, Crichton. So he was like a bit outmatched in terms of size. Just bumps him over, goes in for the second try for the Highlanders. Suddenly the scoreboard is leveled. Both team went back forward a bit more. Just before halftime, the Reds was again inside the Highlanders half, was failing to bridge the defense. Eventually, who made the pass? I think it was might have been James O'Connor again. Again, just Reds nice little shoulder to shoulder pass. Vunivalu was really flat up right next. I think, pretty sure it was James O'Connor. Really flat, nice shoulder to shoulder pass, and Vunivalu gets the ball. He literally slips through the defenders like he was slipping through a closing door, just like whoop, closing train door, right? Like sideways, slips through and then strides down the field for the third try for the Reds just before halftime. So yeah, it was really, really nice to see the Reds go into halftime with a nice little bit of a lead, 7-point lead. Second half starts, the Reds came out very dominant in the scrummaging, despite struggling a bit in the first half. 45 minutes into the game, Nongo gets a huge scrum, folded the Highlanders scrum, and then Reds kicks 3 points. At this point, I actually thought this was a bad decision because there's only 5 minutes in the second half. The Reds should have done what they did in the first half and apply pressure. But yeah, they're taking the 3 points. Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed. So then 57 minutes into the game, just after James O'Connor comes off, the Reds actually had a lot of sustained pressure during this period. They built 17 phases inside the Highlanders 22 and was not able to crack the defense. And then eventually they decided time to take the 3 points. They kicked the 3. And I was like, yeah, I thought that was fair enough because at least they did, put 17 phases before they taken the 3. Unlike the previous 3 points where I thought they just given away too easily. But yeah, Reds kicks the second 3 points, gets himself further ahead by another 3. And then after this 3 point was kicked, basically James O'Connor comes off, Hunter Paisami comes on, and then I literally wrote, is this the point where the Reds throw the game? Is this the end? And yes, sure enough, Landers starts to come on, the reserves comes on, Fakatawa comes on, immediately huge improvement in the breakdown speed, and that improved breakdown speed really allowed Freddie Burns as well. The infamous brother of Billy Burns play really, really well. And so basically a lot more breakdown. So suddenly the Highlanders were getting over the advantage line. So 58 minutes into the game, Highlanders gets a penalty. They decided to go for the line out, not taking the 3. Quick crash ball from Shannon Frizzle, or as the Northerners call him. So Frizzle, quick crash ball down the field, and then another quick ball out wide. Mau just bumps through like 2 defenders, goes in for the third try for the Highlanders. Suddenly the score is just 6 points in difference, 21 points to 27. Highlanders has momentum that the Reds just seems not able to wrestle without anybody on the field that's actually a leader or a captain. What did you expect, right? 69 minutes into the game, what happened? So there was the Highlanders were applying pressure in the Reds half, and then the ball kind of just like popped out loose. No, it wasn't this. So yeah, anyway, applying pressure. There was a lot of forward momentum. I think it was Freddie Burns. Yeah, it was Freddie Burns. He tried to dunk the ball over. He gets caught short just on the try line, and the ball just like popped out backwards. He looked like a knock on, but the ball popped out backwards, and then Basham quickly scooped out the ball, dunks it over for the try. Highlanders suddenly takes the lead by 1 point, and then another huge scrum for the Reds. 72 minutes into the game with about 10 minutes left. Liner pops this one 45 minutes. I thought this one probably, despite the fact that it was a good kick, I thought the Reds should have applied the pressure and gone for a 7-pointer because the fact is you haven't had much possession in the second half at this point. Also, the Highland has a lot of momentum. You wanted to kind of like wrestle that momentum a little bit by have an extended period where the Highlanders are defending, and also you kind of wanted to push pressure on to run the clock down because it's 72 minutes. You got about 8 minutes left. If you can build some phases, even if you don't score the 7, you get a 3 points. 5 minutes later, it's still much better for you on the clock than for the Highlanders to come back. So yeah, just bit better management there. Again, there's not a captain on the field. There was a bit of confusion whether they wanted to kick it through or not, but the referee insisted that anyway, Liner kicks the 3, and then sure enough, there was too much time left over. Highlanders had a lot of momentum, continued with it, and 77 minutes into the game, what's his name? Yeah, Highlanders once again just building a lot of pressure. Again, the Reds defense was just going backwards every time Highlanders is running. And eventually, Fakatawa spots a gap out wide, quick pick and go. Just looked like he had a play out wide to support. Didn't even need him, just went himself and then 77 minutes, wins the game for the Highlanders as he wins through for the try. The Highlanders, he didn't even need to kick the conversion, already 33 points to 30. And but eventually, but the conversion was done. So it was 35 points to 30. And that was the end of the game. So 20 minutes of me ranting about the Reds, about the stupidity. Let me know your thoughts. Did you think that did you see the stupid decision that I saw? I don't know. I feel like I'm just taking crazy pills here. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys for more reviews later. Cheers.